trying to move, education back to the states. You do know that. We're making a big move, and we're counting on Linda McMahon.
All right, that was part of the event we watched there live a short time ago. The president has been preparing to gut the Department of Education. He said so a moment ago once again. He said so a number of times. That was at the executive order signing event, this idea that he wants to ban transgender athletes in women's sports was what that event was about. The White House now planning to direct the education secretary to wind down her own agency with the hope that they would put the states in control. I want to bring in the former Secretary of Education now, Arne Duncan, who served under President Obama and has joined us on this show to talk about this topic before, but it's clearly gone to another level. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, said today the time has come for this idea. So it's being given serious consideration. I don't know what's next, but what would you say for people who think it's a good idea? How would you push back?
Well, let's get the facts straight now. I'll give you my opinion. First of all, they cannot eliminate the Department of Education.
Need Congress.
That takes an act of Congress. It would take 60 senators to do that. That's not going to happen. Could they weaken the department? Could they move functions to other agencies, to HHS, to labor, to Treasury? That is possible. But to answer your question directly, I think there are three very, very important roles that the U.S. Department of Education plays. First is a fight for equity for the most vulnerable students. And the vast majority of funding coming from the department goes to children who live below the poverty line, goes to Pell Grants, goes to children with special needs, goes to English language learners. And so to somehow take away money from our most vulnerable obviously makes no sense whatsoever. Secondly, there has to be a fight for excellence. And we have so far to go. We talked a couple of days ago about how bad the NAEP scores were. We have to educate our way to a better economy. We need to raise high school graduation rates. We need to raise third grade reading scores. That's leadership that has to come at the federal level from the U.S. Department of Education. And third is the idea of innovation and scaling what works. And one of the absolute joys of my job, the privileges, was to travel to all 50 states, visit hundreds and hundreds of schools. And I promise you, for every educational challenge we have, and we have many, that is being solved somewhere. What we don't do is scale, implement at a broader level what is working. And so those three things, fighting for equity, fighting for excellence, and scaling innovation, those are uniquely important roles that the U.S. Department of Education, I believe, has to continue to play going forward if we're going to strengthen our nation and strengthen our nation's economy.
I guess the argument on the other side is that the local officials who know their communities would do a better job on the outcome side. President and others keep citing these recent test scores.
Yeah. So again, facts should still matter. As we know, the overwhelming majority of funding, 90% already comes at the local level, at the state and local level. Only about 8 to 10, 12% tops comes at the federal level. So all the action is already at the state level, and those results are a direct result of states not pushing hard enough, not having a high enough bar, not meeting kids where they are. And so that's the challenge there.
As an educator, given your career and obviously being a college athlete yourself, I would give you a moment. We don't have a ton of time left, but I'd like to hear your thoughts, at least on this executive order, this whole idea of trying to ban transgender athletes in women's sports.
I just think these are obviously very politically driven, politically divisive issues. The number of trans athletes is like minuscule. And I'm more worried about the tens of millions of kids who are way far behind, not reading at grade level. That should be the ultimate bipartisan issue. And President Trump has said nothing about helping our kids across the country learn to read. That should be what's front and center, not these just the divisive issues. Doesn't make any sense.
All right, sir. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.